Alright everyone, it is time for a literary update, Erroneous Occultism by yours truly, now available, 34 pages. This is a fairly short work. I wanted to create an introductory work, just a little one, that was available to people and sort of encompassed a few ideas that I've had over the study of the occult that I've done for more than a decade now, in the literary sense, nearly that long. Really, that I wish that I had had when I myself was just starting out, looking into occult topics. And the idea, link in the description, of course, to my edition of this work on Amazon, the only one, because I'm the author. The idea is this. When we look at the spiritual, the supernatural, the occult in general, the mystic, we're looking at broad terms, umbrella terms that encompass an enormous number of subtopics. So under the general banner of the superstitious, you'll get both folklore in the academic sense, folklore in the more applied sense, so things that people believe in now, superstitions, and those in turn have subtopics. This is one of the sections in this work. And what I wanted to do is go through and parse these apart somewhat and encourage the would-be occultist, mystic, magician, so to speak, if you want to use that term, to admonish individuals that just because they're under the same umbrella does not mean that they're the same. And some of them are wheat, and some of them are chaff, to borrow the biblical term. For example, there's a little bit of a section on alchemy here. In alchemy, we get works that are strictly about counterfeiting metals. There's an allusion to this in the Petit Albert, for example. These are not authentic alchemy in the academic or spiritual sense. We get authentic alchemy in the sense that most people would understand alchemy, which is proto-chemistry, that is often veiled as spiritual works. We get authentic alchemy that is philosophical, that's veiled in some cases as well as chemical works. And these were to defeat censorship at the time, especially in the 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries. So we have on the Philadelphian Gold, this is a philosophical work. We also have the works of Hollandus or certain others that are strictly chemical. We have the idea of elixir. We have the idea of a universal medicine based often on lead, cast off as antimony, although antimony is clearly not the metal that's actually being utilized and referred to. If you look at the chemical transcripts, we get all of these materials. It's a fascinating subject. When we look at superstition, what is superstition? The problem is that some superstitions are horseshit. Some superstitions, though, are very much evolutionary. I use the example of not walking under a ladder. The reason why some people will not walk under a ladder is because they think it's bad luck. Well, you know, you're going to have bad luck if you walk under here, and then your day will be ruined. What the real reason is because if you walk under the ladder, it could collapse. You could have a paint can dropped on your head, etc. A person who doesn't believe in the superstition may do so, get the paint dropped on them. They've got their nice new suit on and a few speckles are on their chest. All of a sudden, they may become a very fervent believer in the topic. And so it's evolutionary. It's almost a survival mechanism when you think about it. I talk about folklore, the importance of folklore, especially in the pre-modern period. People sitting around the campfire telling stories. They had no other form of entertainment. It's late at night. They don't have TV. They don't have a radio and so forth. Folklore continues in this vein, although now it's technologically more adept. We have creepypasta. People have access to superstition and folklore from other cultures. It's much more cosmopolitan in nature. It's much more globalist, you could say, in nature. And so I go through these various subjects. I call out various charlatans. Fortune-telling is covered, and I believe in certain aspects of fortune-telling, but I figured it was important to give a cautionary on certain other subtopics. For instance, psychics, people who do astrological horoscopes and stuff. If they're not charging anyone any money, and it's just for good fun or something, it can be illuminating. It can be a good thing, although there is a little bit of bias with regards to how it tends to be interpreted. If a person is Miss Cleo, or if a person is saying, hey, I can contact your dead ancestor for $19.99 a minute, well, it's a little bit different now, isn't it? Fad dieting, nutrition in general, I cover in here. Pseudoscience in the general sense. And I wanted to create, again, a cautionary work which attempts to parse these broad umbrella, these larger concepts down into subcomponents, to analyze them individually, and to admonish the occultist or the would-be occultist. They must do the same. The occult is a learning experience. The occult is a search for truth and that which is hidden. It cannot be taken with intellectual lightweights. It is impossible to delve into these paths if you don't want to do a rigorous amount of study. What I wanted to do is create a basic, very short, very basic springboard to give a cautionary tale to people who do intend to do this. You've got the fortitude, you've got the willpower, you've got the intelligence, you've decided you want to study these various topics. Maybe academically, maybe more hands-on, maybe some fusion of the two. There are certain things that you should probably be aware of before you begin doing so. Otherwise, you get led off into the quagmire, which is pure superstition, silliness, and charlatans. And so I decided to create a basic work on the subject. So again, 34 pages. I highly recommend this work that I wrote myself. Just saying, I might be a little bit biased about that. I think that a lot of people will enjoy it. That's about all. Peace out.